All right, guys, this particular one, I want to take you guys back. Probably the reason why we find ourselves here. Remember, Jonathan came into power. Good Lord Jonathan came into power by chance. It wasn't by choice, because he was the vice president of Yar'Adua at that time. Yar'Adua died. According to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, when the president dies, the vice president take over. When anything happens to president and the vice president, the Senate president take over. So, good Lord Jonathan got the opportunity at that time to take over the power after we lost a wonderful man, Yar'Adua, at that time. But after his 4 years was off, you know, he recontested again. Buhari came in. Buhari threatened him, you know, whatever that happened, the blood of the baboon, of the goat, of the cow, of the human being, all will be shared for this election, except they let him come in. This still threatened Goodluck Jonathan, and he was scared. He had no choice than to give up power for Buhari at that time. And his statement, unquote, at that time said, you know, he will not allow, he cannot give his ambition for the blood of Nigerians. Right? Now remember. Okay. Now, Goodluck Jonathan don't come and talk the main thing will lead to why he give up that power at that time. Let's pay attention to this particular video.
Americans had, and this group of Americans that predicted that Nigeria was going to disintegrate within that period. So whether people were working to ensure that their prediction manifest, I don't know. But there was a significant show of interest. American
Secretary of State?
Secretary of State don't visit country at the eve of elections, traditionally, because they want to keep away, even if they're interested, they don't want to be seen as directly manipulating the electoral process. But before the elections, America, the State House, sent for some northern governors to have a meeting in the US to discuss the Nigerian election. And of course, Nigerian election, we have North and South divide, Christian-Muslim divide. They invited the northern governors that are Muslims. The Christians were not invited to the US. And the Secretary of State came directly into the country to have various meetings. I don't see as a president of Nigeria for me to engage with America for a fight. It's not going to be necessary. It will affect my citizens and so on. So, but we saw the significant external interest, and you saw what was happening in the country. I wouldn't want to go further than this. Maybe when I publish my biography, I'll go a little more than this. There are certain things that were happening. So, of course, you will know the results long time before it will be announced, even before it will be brought to the center for that. You already know. And that is why these days, even the last election in Ghana, the vice president congratulated Mahama, even before, because you know their results and so on. So he knew where they were going, and I know that the country was tense. I know, maybe because of the statements made by Buhari himself when he said both the baboon and the dog will be soaked in blood. So young people we are kind of mobilized to the level of frenzy to cause maximum violence if people don't get what they want. People were announcing, okay, they will run a parallel government and so on. But those doesn't bother me. But since I was the president of the country, and I also know that even in the Niger Delta, people were also ready to fight back, even though there are not many. But I know they could cause maximum damage, because if the Niger Delta people are going to fight, instead of fight, they will not fight human beings, they will fight oil installations. And it will cause maximum damage to the country, which I don't think it was. So from within that period, a lot of things were going through my head. They process so many things per second. And until you are into that kind of a situation, then you know how many things get through your brain every second. And I reflected back. As a president, I work with a very strong economic team. people like Ngozi, who was the finance minister and the coordinating minister of the economy, Aganga, who was the trade and investment minister, the Dr. who was doing very well in agriculture. So we have done very well. We encourage people to come and invest in the country. And Nigeria was the number one country for foreign direct investment in Africa then. And our economy was. So when I have encouraged people, in most cases when Aganga make arrangements, when we travel, I used to address the investors before I hand over to him. So my face was seen as the face driving the economy of the country. And I looked through that if we have maximum crisis, all these people that have encouraged to come and invest in Nigeria, they will lose their money and so on. Besides the fact that people will die. In fact, I had in a good authority how so many houses in Abuja would have been burnt if things have gone a particular way. But even if I had won the election genuinely, yes, I had no problem. But since they manipulated the process and they are announcing figures that I was the president of the country, I'm not the one to doubt the result of INEC that appointed the people. So it will look silly for me because I appointed the people. So I said, well, it is my fault. So I will not want the country and investors to suffer. Wow. So the best thing to do was for me to announce the result, not to allow INEC to announce the result. Because if I allow INEC to announce the result, the over-jubilation, they could do havoc to some parts. So while waiting, I announced the results. That was why I made that phone call. It was to announce the result, even though they were still collating. But I said, let me announce the result. And I remember that day in the sitting room, I was there. I know Minister Ngozi was there. Some ministers were there, some of my aides were there. And people were talking, the way things are going, the different options. Yes. But I was just listening because as the head of state then, I was more interested in the security of the country. I was not too much interested about the fate of Jonathan after the election. That didn't bother me that much. But how will Nigeria still be peaceful until the next government take over? So I didn't participate in the conversation that much. But people were saying different things. People were saying different things, but I was listening. Then at the time, I just left them. Then I just moved into my study, which is opens to the other part of the city room. I didn't tell anybody. I just stood up, went there. Then I called Buhari. So when I came back, they were still talking. Then I said, gentlemen and young ladies, look, it's over. I've congratulated Buhari.
Wow.
They said, have you congratulated? I said, yes. So the talking should end. So one of my ministers then was there, Chidoka Osita. He was the Minister of Aviation then. And I said, okay, you congratulate Buhari? I said, yes. So, okay, can I tweet it? I said, okay, go on. And so he was the person who tweeted it. So immediately he tweeted it, it went viral.
Wow.
Then, of course, so I announced the result. And it was better for me that I took the responsibility of announcing the result to make sure that nobody should do excessive celebration.
Although Goodluck Jonathan allowed himself to be threatened at that time, that's why you and I were where we are today, because there's no way for a way where satanic APC for faith take get power. Talk less or say go give birth to Buhari and can't give birth to Tinubu. Goodluck Jonathan, they tear him apart and he run because he don't want to go prison, or rather he don't want anybody buy. My people, 2027 is around the corner now. What's your take? Surprisingly, campaign don't start. It don't start. 2 years is still far away. I'm surprised that at this time, campaign don't start. Since they said the campaign don't start, me want to join them, make we kukuma do the campaign with them. Maybe from tonight, let's start it. Yes. Listen, guys, this is the best time for us all to come together and speak in one voice. If not, for you where they think say 8 years not far, not be just 8 years, do 8 years, come on. The other one, do 8 years, come on. You are getting old and nothing is working in the country. For example, how old were you when Yaradua came into power? If you listen to me right now, Goodluck Jonathan can't take over. He can't give Buhari, he can't do 8 years. Tinubu now don't do 2 years. So remove all these years out of your age. How old you dey now? And if you fail to put in the right energy to choose the right leader that will give us the best country that you and I craved for, then plus 8 years where you want to give this Tinubu or any other satanic politician prospectively to your age, tell me how old you could be. We are just dreaming ourselves, or rather gambling or dreaming. I don't know how I want to put on ourselves. By God's grace, people like us, and many of you listening to me, because I know 80% of my followers are diasporans, you should be grateful for your life. Yes, you have a second home. The same second home that the satanic politicians they run to. If they sick, they will come here, come take injection. As we talk now, Buhari dey London, taking treatment, allegedly. But you and I have this thing free. Yes, by God's grace, we are citizens. We have this beautiful lifestyle that our politicians go extra mile to steal our commonwealth, to come here to utilize for themselves and their satanic families. Let's come together and speak in one voice to have that better Nigeria. And I say, no, we're not going to agree. Over your dead body, we're not going to agree. Ethnicism and tribalism have consumed many of you. We don't know who be Igbo. We don't know who be Yoruba. We don't know who be Edo. We know who be Hausa. Look where we are today. 2027 now, and you see we'll be divided, totally in division. Just because you want to vote for your village person. What do I know? This is NAIJA Watch Media. Join us every day, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's continue to talk about the things that's affecting you and I. Take care, guys, and bye for now.